Welcome to the prehistoric death of the universe.
That's right. You're now you are quieter.
We're going back in time. Back in time to 1993, the year that Steven Spielberg unleashed dinosaurs on the Earth.
And Nazis.
As a tool to show what unbridled capitalism will do to the future.
That's why he did it.
Because he is not a hard supporter of capitalism.
No, not Mr. Spielberg.
Spielberg makes sure to pays all of his employees at least minimum wage. I know very little about Spielberg or his politics.
I think we'll discover through the course of these movies that Spielberg's politics are probably pretty firmly in the I'm just a Democrat area.
I'm just a Democrat.
We are about to watch the original, the best Jurassic Park movie. We're at the 00005 marker point. If you want to follow along. I usually only want to do commentaries on bad movies, but this is going to be the rare exception, I think. Or at least quote unquote bad movies. This movie is, of course, a masterpiece that holds up, is what I'll say.
It's all right.
I've seen it more recently, but
It's not Hackers.
It's no Hackers. But did you know that this and Schindler's List came out the same year? Spielberg was busy.
I didn't know that.
It's true.
I remember being very sad the one time I watched Schindler's List.
You weirdo.
It made me sad.
I don't see why. I mean, the good guys win, don't they? Anyway, enough of whatever that was going to turn into. On 3. 1, 2, 3. On 3. 1, 2, 3. You should be seeing the universal logo spinning around Africa. You should be hearing ambient jungle sounds. This movie is just like a pure shot of nostalgia, like white China heroin nostalgia for me.
It makes me think back to when I was a child and happier.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Like you were saying.
I think like every detail of this movie is like pretty seared into my brain at this point. And I didn't like rewatch it a lot as a kid. Like we didn't own it on VHS growing up.
Did you rewatch a lot of movies as a kid?
Some movies, like we had Batman Forever on VHS for some reason, and I watched that like a million times, even though I knew it wasn't good.
I had The Wizard on VHS, and I probably watched it upteenth a billion times.
That tracks. It's a good movie, though.
My first crush was on Jenny Lewis. Probably the best commercial ever made. Just 2-hour long Nintendo commercial. My life is like a 37-year long Nintendo commercial.
PSA. we are being introduced to raptors. I don't know if there's much point in saying what's going on in this movie. Everyone knows this movie.
I just wish I could work at a pair of safari shorts every day.
Yeah, Muldoon is badass. Great character.
You can tell he's a boss, though, because he makes all of his employees wear jumpsuits while he gets to wear a pair of shorts.
He's got to be distinguished. It's just... Jesus, I remember the adrenaline rush of this as a kid. I think this shit is way more viscerally scary than when you actually see any of the dinosaurs, honestly.
Yeah, unseen is better than seen,
And
generally in horror.
Get that shot of the eye there. Shoot her. I still don't know if he's saying shoot her or shoot her. I think he's saying shoot her.
Yeah, I think shoot her.
Also, why aren't the subtitles on? Oh, that's why. They were turned off. I think that's why. Now we've faded into the sleazy lawyer. I forget the lawyer's name. He could just be called Sleazy Lawyer, I think.
Maybe I should be a lawyer.
Good luck.
It's like from what I can tell, lots of podcasters are law degree holders.
I was going to say, the few people I know who graduated law school, I don't think actually work in law.
I know like one who works in law, but he's a public defender, and
I mean, that's a noble but probably miserable job in a way.
I think so.
Some good exposition going on here. Just introduced like 6 main characters without seeing them. And these people are finding
They're searching for lost mosquitoes.
The frozen in amber mosquitoes.
This is for the Gates Foundation's mission to eradicate all mosquitoes from the world.
Just completely destroy the ecosystem.
Nah, the world would be a better place without mosquitoes altogether.
Is that a fact?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it would really disrupt the food chain in a serious way if they just suddenly were gone.
Meh.
Maybe gradually, yeah, but like if you could just snap your fingers. I don't know. This is a science podcast. We're having a scientific debate.
I don't participate in science.
Now, here's one thing.
You don't understand.
Is it clear that Laura Dern and Sam Neill are a couple? Because I don't think it is. I think it's very ambiguous throughout the whole movie.
Oh, really?
Don't you think so?
I always thought of them as a couple.
But there's all this stuff later with Malcolm. I almost said Malcolm Gladwell or Malcolm McDowell, whatever. Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum, like flirting with her.
All I know is that flannel shirt's just fucking great.
I mean, Sam Neill's a boss. I mean, Laura Dern's got her. She's surrounded by hunks.
I don't know.
I think this was the first movie I ever saw a lot of these actors in, actually. Goldblum, Laura Dern, Sam Neill. I don't remember seeing them anything before this as a kid.
I saw The Fly before this, so that was my introduction to Jeff. Actually, maybe it was something else. My mom had a giant crush on Goldblum. Like a giant crush, and I think I watched every single one of his movies as a kid because of my mom.
He wasn't really like I feel like this movie made him the star that he is, though, today, I want to say.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Like, he was this was kind of his introduction to America at large.
The Fly was his breakout role, though, right? I mean,
yeah, but The Fly is like a cult movie. Like, it's not like a mainstream movie.
It's true. Kind of think of it. I guess my mom was into cult movies because I definitely watched The Fly as a kid, and then she really loved. Oh, my brain just died. The guy that directed Crybaby and Pink Flamingos, John Rivers. Waters.
You're close. It's made of water. It's Joan Rivers plus John Waters is John Rivers.
Yeah. Always.
This part's great. This kid is like the perfectly cast as an annoying kid who you want to see get owned. And he gets owned hard by Dr. Grant. So the kid just said, like, doesn't look very scary to me. Talking about the Velociraptor skeleton. Sam Neill's teaching him a lesson in how he would be torturously killed by a dinosaur if he were to meet one in real life. I feel like I've seen that kid grown up in something, and he's just as annoying, just as annoying vibe.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen him in something as a grown up too.
Laura Dern is great. Sam Neill is great. This movie is great. It was also great, like, getting into David Lynch after this and then realizing, like, she was one of his muses. Because I still think of her, like, almost first and foremost as from this movie. Like, hey, Jurassic Park lady is in Blue Velvet and Wild at Heart. And I guess now all other Lynch movies, too. And Inland Empire, Twin Peaks Season 3. Oh, so they are making a 6th Jurassic Park movie, of course, and they're bringing back, like, the whole original cast.
Oh, no.
Which I'm both scared and sort of happy about. Because once we get to these last two movies, I think the idea is they're going to try to, like, actually recapture the spirit of the first movie, even though they're all going to be, 30 years older, but, like... But yeah, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum are all going to be in the new one. I'm hoping that means that they're going to kick out Chris Pratt, who I now hate. Never really liked, but now I hate him.
Why do you hate him?
Maybe I shouldn't hate him. I just know that he has, like, some kind of abhorrent politics. Like, I think he's, like, pro, like, conversion therapy, but maybe that might be libelous of what I just said.
He goes to like a very conservative church. That's all I really know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Now, this actor, I believe, is the brother of David Attenborough, right?
I think so.
The great David Attenborough. I think this guy is dead, though, in real life. I mean, he's pretty old in 1993 here. Richard Attenborough? Is that who this is? I still feel their coupleness is ambiguous. They never like kiss on. They never kiss.
I mean, I'm in a relationship like that.
I knew you were gonna say something like that.
There's other ones.
I feel like it. Also, actually, once we get to the third movie, you'll. No, I shouldn't say anything. It kind of sorts out what their relationship was.
Work partners.
Well, it's implied out heavily that they like each other or whatever, but I don't think they're meant to be an actual couple in the movie, because like the flirting with Goldblum goes so far that it's like beyond polite society levels, from what I remember. And I have seen this fairly recently. Alcohol in the daytime. That looks pretty good right about now, actually. This movie is perfect. There's like literally nothing wrong with this movie. It's like spot the error in watching a movie like this. Perfectly cast Newman, as he'll always be known. Wayne Knight.
With his spectacular calculator watch.
He does have a calculator watch.
The smart watch.
Dotson. We got Dotson here. I wish I was where they are right now. Wherever that is. Costa Rica? There's a detail coming up here I always notice. A sound that he makes. Right there. He sounds like the fucking raptor sound.
He does.
And it had to have been an accident, but I always thought that was weird too, putting the shaving cream on the pie.
Someone's going to eat that.
He's going to. I think next to be playing Newman, this has to be his most famous role, right? This is like a lot of people's most famous role, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's...
I would say Sam Neill. Like, what's a bigger movie Sam Neill's been in? I can't think of one. Laura Dern, I guess you could say that... What was it? One of the new Star Wars movies she was in briefly.
Oh, I guess she was.
But she's more of a memorable main character in this, I would say. Did you ever read the novel?
No, I've never read a Michael Crichton novel. Somehow. I think I considered reading one or two, but just, there's a lot of books. Never got around to it.
I read the book for Jurassic. I read the Jurassic Park book because my parents wouldn't let me see this movie when it was the biggest movie on Earth, and I will always resent my parents for that.
You're not the first person I've heard say that. I've heard someone else say that before.
It might have been me. I think I may have told you this.
No, I was thinking literally of a good friend back home who had a very similar sentiment about his parents and this movie and reading the Michael Crichton books.
Weird. I'm not alone.
You guys would like each other.
But I wanted to see this movie so bad. So we would have been on about 10 when this came out. 10 years old is totally old enough to see this fucking movie.
Yeah, definitely.
But my parents...
I saw it then.
My parents were... Everybody did. That was the thing, is every kid in my class in elementary school, in my whole grade, kids younger than me, were all like, talking about this amazing movie. It was getting spoiled for me as well. And I was just like, I somehow got my hands on a copy of the Michael Crichton book. I guess the library or something. This part's funny when he just ties the two seatbelt ends together, I think.
It works.
But yeah, like, I still resent my mom and dad for that. Because I even remember parents of my friends being like, "You've seen Jurassic Park, right?" Like, it was like the talk of the town, you know? It was like this amazing blockbuster movie that everyone was seeing. And I was like, my parents will let me see it. And they even looked at they knew they couldn't outright just be like, your parents are idiots. But like, that's what their body language said to me. They're like, what religion are your parents again? And I was like, I don't know exactly. Christian?
Were your parents the type of people who didn't believe in dinosaurs?
No, they weren't that extreme. But no, the reasoning had nothing to do with that. It was just like, oh, there's some mild violence in it. Like, we must shield our children's eyes from everything secular, basically. Anything that could be mildly inappropriate. Like, I'm trying to remember some of the movies they wouldn't let me see that were outrageous. I mean, this is a good example of one. Yeah, there were so many times that happened. Like, friends would invite me to go see a movie. I'd have to be like, no, I'm not allowed.
Oh, that's terrible.
Like,
Never just like
movies that weren't even bad either. Like, I remember I couldn't see Batman, of course. That's too dark and scary. But I just like, so I just ended up like watching it at a friend's house at like 2 a.m, which I guess made it more like exciting.
you didn't have cable.
We didn't have cable till I was like probably like 12.
Okay. So no, like staying up all night watching the USA Late at Night show that was hosted by the
I
annoying guy.
got a little taste of that a little later on, but yeah, I don't know. There was a good chunk of my childhood where my movie monitoring was, I mean, you know, we're old, man, so like I couldn't hop on the internet and just download shit. Like,
It's true.
Either you saw it in the theater or you could rent it from Blockbuster. What changed everything basically was having a friend whose parents just let us watch anything, and I would stay over there and we would just rent whatever we wanted.
I think I was that friend for many people.
Iconic. I say the CGI totally holds up in this movie. Maybe not maybe, I mean, obviously there's been improvements since 1993, but
It's surprisingly good.
I mean, maybe part of it also is my like child brain is still taking over.
No, it's still good. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's just good. I was actually kind of rewatching Roger Rabbit the other day, and I'm kind of sad that there's not more dual cartoon slash. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Cool
that
world.
Movie, that movie looks fucking great.
Roger Rabbit's awesome. That's something I'm due for a rewatch of too. We'd be remiss not to mention the that's this fucking asshole's reaction. The John Williams score is firing on all cylinders in this movie. I think I had a cassette tape of the fucking OST for this movie at one point as a kid. I'll say the book, of course, is like a lot more cynical and more, it's made for adults. Like this is obviously made for like trying to hit all 4 quadrants or whatever. But in the book, like a lot of stuff is just totally opposite. Like Dr. Grant likes kids. Like he's really like friendly and nice to kids. And the grandfather is kind of an asshole.
I mean, I think the grandfather's kind of an asshole in the film, from what I remember. But maybe that's just,
but not as overtly. Like he tells his like grandkids to like fuck off, basically in the book, from what I remember. He's more like a friendly grandfatherly guy to his kids, at least.
That's true.
Or his grandkids, but also a lot more people die in the book. Because he wasn't intending to make a sequel.
Were they intending to make a sequel when they made this movie, though?
Probably in the back of their minds. And then, like, after the first weekend when it made $1 billion, they're like, yeah, we're definitely making a sequel.
That's true.
Although the sequel doesn't come out for, like, I think 4 years after this.
Yeah, 97.
But this movie, so what I did get to see it in theaters, but it was like literally 2 years. It was like 95 because this was, you remember, man, the 90s when hit movies would stay in the theater for like years. Maybe years is wrong, but it felt like years.
Sometimes they'd come back.
Maybe it was coming back because like. I remember Home Alone like had like a record-breaking streak of being in the theaters for like the longest time.
I think it would get re-released like at Christmas.
Maybe that's what it is, but I did see Jurassic Park in the theater, but it was one of those like 99-cent theaters. Did you ever go to those?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like by the time I saw Jurassic Park, it was my dad finally took me, and like it was like an empty like dollar theater. And I remember that's when Pulp Fiction was taking off, because I remember staring at the poster for Pulp Fiction for a long time
and
trying to figure out what it was, because I didn't understand what the movie was at all. I just knew that I wanted to see it.
My dad is terrified of blood in movies. He apparently went to see Pulp Fiction and threw up and had to leave the movie.
Oh, Jesus.
According to my mom.
It's not like a super gory movie.
Well, according to my mom, who could have just been like...
I mean, there's the scene with what's his name in the back seat.
Yeah.
But that's like 5 seconds, and it's like so bloody that it's like comical. Kind of like most Tarantino violence is supposed to be. I even like this part, this educational video part.
Yeah, I like this.
It is funny that what's the character's name? I'll just call him Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum's character, the like chaos mathematician. I get like his point, like the literary device of him being there.
Yeah.
Like in reality, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
They might have like a mathematician of some sort here. Well, they definitely have a mathematician of some sort, but I don't know
but he's not. Him. But he's not like an engineer. He's just like he's like theoretical. He's doing like theoretical math. Like his whole thing is a chaos theory. So in the novel, I remember like in between like the regular chapters, there'll be like these short there were these short passages just about chaos theory that when I was a kid, I didn't, I just like skipped those parts because it was a bunch of gobbledygook I couldn't understand. But I think Crichton was just trying to show off that he knew what chaos theory was. I mean, it applies to the plot of the story.
I haven't read the novel, but I mean, like, if they're trying to restructure the gene sequence, they'd have to use some type of just like to get the sequence right. They'd have to use something to fill in the gaps they were missing. I guess that's where the chaos theory comes in.
Yeah, they use frog DNA, they said.
Yeah.
Well, no, the chaos theory, I mean, I guess that's part of it. That's the one variable, but he spells it out throughout the movie. He's like, his classic line, life finds a way, and all of that. And they're going to get into it here, actually. The thing about they're all supposed to be bred to be female dinosaurs.
Wouldn't it make more sense to make them all male dinosaurs? If they were worried about them reproducing?
It would make more sense.
Or, just to sterilize them at birth?
Yeah. See, puppetry. This would definitely be CGI in the new movies.
The question I always wondered is, did they ever get to try a fried dinosaur egg?
What?
Just delicious fried dinosaur eggs.
I'm sure Newman did it. a raptor omelet.
God, puppets are fucking great.
Yeah, this is I buy this, you know what I mean? Like, when you're in the flow of a good movie and you're suspending disbelief, like, that's way more real seeming than any CGI would be. B.D. Wong. Also, never saw him before this movie. He ended up being the go-to criminal psychologist on one of the Law and Order series, maybe several of them. He is also the villain in Mr. Robot.
That is true. I love that show. Mr. Robot. Great show.
I liked it. I thought it got a little too nutty in the last couple episodes.
I was okay with it. Sam Esmail, the show he did on Hulu, Homecoming, was absolutely incredible. Highly recommended if you've never got around to watching it. Each episode's like 15 minutes, but it's based on the podcast Homecoming.
I don't know anything about it.
It's a fictional podcast about soldiers returning from fictional war. I mean, I guess Iraq war, and getting therapy. It's very good. And it gets really weird in that Sam Esmail way, but he does some really neat. I mean, I think Sam Esmail's like really cool as far as direction goes, but he does some really neat, like half the show looks like it was recorded on a smartphone with the smartphone turned vertically, like you would record a video for Instagram or something. I don't know. You kind of have to just watch it, but the best thing I've ever seen Julia Roberts in.
Oh, see, you shouldn't have told me she was in it. Now I'm put off.
I was put off too, man, but you should watch it. I think you'd really enjoy it. And each episode's like 15 minutes, so I think like you can probably watch the whole thing in like under 2 hours. It's more like just a movie broken up into 8 parts.
I'll give it a look-see.
That'd be a great thing to recommend I should recommend that. I've heard the podcast is great too. It's a fictional podcast. I just never got around to listening to it, but I watch the show because I like Sam Esmail.
Well, what do you mean it's a fictional podcast?
It's like a story podcast.
Okay.
There's some of those.
I just thought you meant like it's a made-up podcast
I
for
meant
the
like
movie.
the podcast is the movie. The show's based on a podcast. Then the podcast was not like us, where we talk about real things.
I got it. Look at those damn shorts.
Is he British or Australian?
I think he's supposed to be Australian.
Those shorts are fucking great.
Well, actually, I don't know. Now I'm listening to him talk. I think it just said Australian because he's got this. He's got the fucking
nose.
No. No, he's not Australian at all. I just said Australian.
Yeah.
He looks like Steve. He's got the Steve Irwin outfit.
He does. I'd take any job where I could wear shorts every day.
You could wear shorts right now. Can't you? Or is that against dress code?
That's against the dress code for men. According to my boss, it's okay for women to wear shorts every day. Not men, though.
So this movie also introduced the world, I feel. This part was so great. Eat that whole cow. There should be blood all over that thing. That's 1 point off Spielberg. But this movie introduced the world to velociraptors, I think. To the normie world, the non people who don't care about know shit about dinosaurs. I never heard of a velociraptor, and I was into dinosaur shit before this movie. And I remember wanting to read all about them after this movie. Goldblum is great. See, I think the owner is actually painted as much less much less greedy than he is in reality, if that makes sense, than I think in the book. He's like, oh, this is all about nature, the wonder of science and stuff. But I think in the book, he more agrees with the lawyer about, like, let's just sell t-shirts and shit. But Goldblum's giving the anti-profit
Luddite? I always thought it was Luddite.
No.
I'm going to keep saying Luddite.
This is a better back and forth than I realized, maybe watching it with the subtitles on. Sam Neill has a great Instagram, by the way. Or not Instagram, Twitter. I don't know, whatever.
Really?
One of those things. Yeah, he's kind of like, he's just this chill guy who like, because he doesn't really make a lot of movies. I think even since this movie, he's probably like still living off Jurassic Park residuals.
I feel like if I ever made like the amount of money that they probably made from doing this one movie, that I would be hard pressed to ever find it in myself to work again.
Yeah, I mean, I know Sam Neill has done some stuff. I think he's in that show that I still haven't seen, but have been meaning to see. Peaky Blinders. I think he's in that.
Oh, okay. I watched most of that.
He's in it, isn't he?
Sure. I don't know. I'm real bad with actors.
Sam Neill's great though, man.
I know, but I'm real bad with faces.
I never heard that before. I think neither of these kids went on to do anything after this. Kind of like goes against our thesis about everyone else being kind of introduced to the world.
I hope they were set for life, though.
I mean, I'm sure they're fine.
They were probably fine before the movie, though. I imagine if you get into these movies as a kid, you probably had parents who were doing all right.
Yeah.
Or parents who knew Steven. Kid creeps me out. Why is he being so awkward around kids?
I think, again, it's another sort of implied thing about the relationship between Laura Dern and Sam Neill. It's like about, my guess is that they have fucked casually or something. I don't know. And then like it almost seems like it's a thing about like, would you ever want to have kids? And he's like, hell no. And like that's what's preventing them from being a couple or something like that. I'm pretty sure all these things I'm wondering about their relationship gets kind of spelled out in the third movie, which is when Sam Neill comes back to the franchise, actually.
Smoking inside. Better times.
Yeah, and Samuel L. Jackson in like a minor role. That's weird to see now.
Yeah,
oh man,
this was before his resurgence, right? I mean, because Pulp Fiction was his resurgence.
Pulp Fiction was like the same year as this, or like
It's the year after, right? I thought Pulp Fiction was 94.
Is it 93 or 94?
I could be wrong, but I think
It's
Pulp
like
Fiction came out in 94. I'm sure he was probably filming Pulp Fiction at the same time as this, though.
Pulp Fiction was the big...
That was like, because Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, they were both like on the outs, and I thought that's how Tarantino got them into the movie, or part of why he did. 'Cause he wanted like...
Travolta... The story was Travolta was the one who needed a comeback. Like, Samuel L. Jackson had just been like one of those like... journeyman, like he just never stops working. Like he was still doing lots of movies.
I mean, he still does that now, from what I understand.
He does. He just never stops working. But like,
God, imagine liking your profession.
He's just the real pro, though, as well. He does a lot of shitty movies too. I watched that fucking Old Boy remake the other day.
I've never seen the remake. I heard it was not
It's bad, but Samuel L. Jackson is in it as like a minor character, and even in that short amount of time, I was like, he's still fucking good as hell. Yeah, that remake is like, it's kind of like on the surface of it, like everything's fine about it, but it's like, why did Spike Lee make this? There's no need for this. Like, all the main actors are good in it. It does switch the story up a little bit to be not totally just a shot-for-shot remake, but like, when you get to the end of it, it's just like, why? Why not just watch The Real Old Boy? The other weird thing about that movie was in the opening credit sequence, it said, based on the Korean film Old Boy.
Yeah.
Why? Why does it say based on the Korean film? Never seen that before. This is a real proto, like, basement dweller hacker character that we didn't really see in movies before this as much. If at all.
Guess you never watched Sneakers.
I didn't.
Oh,
is
great.
that about hacking?
One of the greatest late 80s movies ever made. Yeah, it's about hacking. It's about cryptography and hacking. Actually really like that movie. And it's a good movie. It's probably not a general one that we'd want the commentary. It's agreed on as being a good movie in the scheme of movies.
I've heard the title. I just never had any idea what the subject matter was.
Yeah.
And the movie Hackers came out after this.
Yeah, Hackers was like 95.
But that also wasn't like Newman type characters.
No, that was...
They were like sexy young people. Isn't there something funny about that movie where like the big password that's super important ends up being like God or something? Like,
yeah.
Is it God or like...
Yeah, and it's brought up in the movie. Like, they make fun of it.
Oh, they make fun of it in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually love that movie. It's not a good movie, but I love that movie, and I agree with the other people who say that movie had a heavy influence on like the previous 20 years or so of just like culture.
I never watched it from beginning to end, actually.
Oh, we should do that sometime.
I mean, I feel like I've seen it because I've listened to bad movie podcasts rip on it.
It's
that goat is gonna get it.
That boy's a sociopath. She's also a sociopath. You can tell by the fact that she's a vegetarian.
That's your theory?
Yep. What if I think all children are sociopaths? And
especially vegetarian ones.
The road to adulthood is learning not to be a sociopath. Some people never learn though, and they turn into like Elon Musk.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, kids are have to be taught that they're not the center of the universe. Goldblum's great.
Can't wait for that new Jeff Goldblum movie where they're doing the biopic of Anthony Bourdain.
You liar.
I am lying.
Don't get my hopes up like that.
I'd totally be down for watching a movie where Jeff
Also,
Goldblum.
Anthony Bourdain has such a deep voice. Goldblum could never pull it off. And Bourdain isn't really like talkative the way Goldblum's kind of persona is.
Is this flirting?
Extreme flirting.
Alan seems okay with it.
Yeah, he just walked out of a moving car. It's actually not chaos theory, but whatever. Michael Crichton is probably partially responsible for a lot of like annoying pseudoscience people. Like
I love science Reddit.
Like not even the real like. There's like annoying people who actually know about real science, but then there's like the even worse people who think they do, but they don't really know what they're talking about.
I've seen Newman loves Reese cups almost as much as me. Really, when I was a kid, my dream was to grow up to be a Newman. I just wanted to be a basement computer guy. I was so close.
You can still live out your dreams. Don't you technically live in a basement right now?
I guess so. It's a nice basement.
I'm not just saying you're partially underground, right?
I do have computers. Multiples.
This is more great puppetry.
Don't touch it.
I also think the sound design is so good in this movie. Like the screeching of the raptors. And then, of course, the T-Rex.
What are the lifespans of dinosaurs? Like, how many years did it take for them to get that big? Was it like a quick process? Are they like cows?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I'd have to look it up.
Like, how many years have they been making dinosaurs before they pull all these doctors and researchers in? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Is that covered in the book?
Oh, you mean in the reality of the movie? I thought you were talking about real dinosaurs. Because I'm sure there's some archaeological evidence of that.
Oh.
This part makes me laugh because it makes me think of that meme where it's him smiling, laying on the Triceratops' belly, but then they have him laying on Jeff Goldblum's bare chest in the film. You seen that? It's a hilarious picture. Muldoon's so badass. He's a meteorologist and a raptor hunter.
Had you lived a better life, you could have been a meteorologist and raptor hunter.
Yeah, kick myself every morning.
I wake up every morning thinking,
I wake up
why
every
am I
morning
not a
doing that.
meteorologist?
I go, damn. I didn't know you could say shit in a PG movie. I'm pretty sure this was PG, or is it PG-13 maybe?
I think it's PG.
I think you can only get away with a shit in a PG-13.
Yeah.
They're really specific about that kind of stuff, especially for big movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's like the reason my parents wouldn't let me see the movie. Is like, it was PG-13. And you're not 13 yet, mister.
And I imagine your parents hated cursing, so they might have got wind that there was someone said shit in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, oh my God, no.
Even to this day, sometimes if I'm visiting my parents and we're watching a movie and someone says fuck or something, my mom or dad will be like, there's no need for that. Why do they have to say that?
Oh, my dad does the same thing. My
like,
dad's so weird about it. I was like, really?
When did that become such an issue for like, and it's like,
I don't know. It's like value,
but it's like, it's taken so seriously.
value bullying. I don't fucking know.
I feel like there's some like historical build up to that, like with Christianity or something, because I mean there is the idea of like cursing, like actual like damnation, right? Like, what I always find funny too is like the way people like that who are so uptight about swearing just replace swear words with other words that signify the same thing. Like my mother literally says Jiminy Crickets and stuff like that.
Golly gee whiz.
But like Jiminy Crickets, JC, it's just a stand-in for saying Jesus Christ. It like, so you're satisfying the same like thing, same sort of like urge of what you're trying to express. But it's like, but I didn't technically take the Lord's name in vain. Anyway, this movie rules. I want that Jurassic Park coffee cup in the background.
Why did he press the mouse that way with two hands?
Because he was starting his watch on his wrist at the same time.
Oh, I see. Weird people. People that get married. I do feel like there's a trend in marriage. Divorces.
Nothing gets past you.
You never have to get a divorce lawyer if you don't get married. You save your money by not getting married. That's how I've always looked at it.
It would be weird to get one if you weren't married.
I don't know. Maybe you're buying one as a present to a friend. Bobby, I got you a divorce lawyer. Now you have no excuses. You can come hang out with me again, Bobby. Susie will never make you happy the way Nintendo and Jason did.
This is the picture I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. Oh, this is the actual GIF. Do you see it moving? He's breathing just like the fucking Triceratops.
Oh yeah.
It just cracks me up every time I see it. Oh man, this whole sequence holds up so well. See, what's that about? I think what I'm getting at is that like it's kind of
I think they're not in a relationship, but Sam likes her. Is that what you're trying to say?
but it's like it goes against sort of like traditional Hollywood shit where it's like either they have to be like a couple, like a firmly committed obvious couple, like there can be no like vagueness. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially in like, mainstream movies in this time in the early 90s.
Or even now, really.
Even now too, but like, especially like, yeah, if the two lead characters are like an attractive man and woman, like they should either be fucking or married or whatever. And like, it's never really directly said what their situation is and it's complicated in Facebook terminology. So I don't know whose idea that was, but I guess I'll give Spielberg credit for that.
What was their relationship in the book?
I don't really remember. I literally read it in like 1993.
Oh, yeah, you're young too.
I was.
I mean, you may have not even been picking up on relationship stuff at the age of 10.
I just remember there was.
Come to think of it,
the funniest thing about me reading that book, which is very much like for adults, like that is not a kid's book. Like there's tons of like swearing and like the violence is way more excessively described than you see anything in the movie. So I was like, this.
No. I think yeah, I read a lot of like I guess more adult-esque novels when I was a kid. Not necessarily good novels, I kind of think of it. It was always encouraged. And
I only read Jurassic Park because I wanted to see the movie so bad. And so I read the adult, the regular novel, but then they also, before I saw the movie, I read the novel and I read the more like kid-friendly adapted from the film
novel
book. Yeah, which was like really short and just like big type or whatever. So like I basically had everything ruined for me before I saw the movie, but still seeing the movie was like a religious experience. Because it was like finally I've been waiting so long to see this fucking movie.
It had so much build up to it.
Yeah.
Then we're right back.
So what my parents accidentally taught me through their puritanical shit was the joys of edging and and reading. Distant thudding. That's a guitar string. That's a sleazy lawyer. Just in time for some great shit. I remember seeing
Things go bad in this movie really quickly.
great reveal, swallowing that goat. But you know the classic shot of the water like shaking in the car.
Yeah.
I remember finding out how they did that, thinking it was so cool. Because like I guess it was weirdly hard to get it right. Do you know about how they did it?
No, I wasn't sure how they
Okay.
did it. I thought it would be easy to do, to be honest.
No, you'd think it would be, but like apparently they struggled with it to get like the water rings like radiating out
Yeah.
just right. And the way they ultimately did it was like putting a guitar string underneath the cup, like under the car thing, and like plucking a guitar string. Because like doing anything else they did would make like the water splash out or whatever, so it didn't look like it was some huge rumbling thing. Yeah, it was like some visual effects guy was like, I was just strumming my guitar, thinking about the water problem, and I saw the vibration of the guitar string and realized. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool as a little nerdy kid. There was some like TV special about like how they did some of the effects in this movie. This shit is all puppetry. I mean, I guess that's probably CGI, but the seamless transition, I think, between the puppet and CGI is really good in this. And I guess the whole point of doing it in the rain is really smart. Like it just it makes everything look more real. Like
do it in the rain, do it in the dark.
Yeah. So it was the whole Jaws problem for Spielberg was like the shark just looked like shit. Like they couldn't. They were like, no matter what we do, this thing's gonna look kind of dumb. So you know, the classic thing about Jaws is like
you never see Jaws.
You don't really see Jaws. You just kind of you get the same way in the beginning of this movie. You don't see the raptors or whatever. It's the same kind of principle. But like the animatronics on this were so good that they could actually pull this kind of stuff off, I think.
Boss's grandkids are going to get eaten by a T-Rex. That'll teach him. Had he paid his computer guy more money, maybe his computer guy wouldn't be taking side jobs. All Newman wanted was a livable wage.
I think it was more than that.
If they just appreciated his work.
He does. Well, you're right. He does say that like he built like the entire like computer system and security system by himself, basically. Yeah, he does say like he should have been paid more, right?
Oh, he decided he had to save the kids. But he hates children.
Well, this is showing character growth. This part's funny to me because he's like, I'm gonna be a hero too. And he just like does it in the dumbest way. Oh, right. This is the real money shot of the whole.
Oh, poor lawyer guy.
Everybody loved to see lawyers get fucked up in the 90s. It was like the age of lawyer jokes. Also, because it's, this is Spielberg, classic movie making. Like the most gruesome death probably is that lawyer's death, right?
I think so.
And they set it up like he had just abandoned the children totally selfishly. Like, fuck you kids, I'm out of here.
But the T-Rex becomes the good guy, right?
He's already the good guy. He just ate that lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's just playing with these people. It'd be funny if that's really what he was doing, but like you just can't express it in a way that humans understand. It's like a dog, play biting you. Just trying to have a good time. This is great. This whole sequence is perfect. It's got humor. It's got lawyer death. It's got suspenseful Jeep.
It's a Ford Explorer, man.
Falling, whatever, cars. Wait, wasn't little Timmy in there still?
No, he was underneath.
Yeah, but the car was upside down.
Yeah, but the sunroof, was broken.
Oh, okay.
Remember, the T-Rex crashed through the sunroof, so I think he's just like... I don't know.
I think he's still in there, man.
Maybe he is.
Because whatever. Let's just watch. See, he cares.
He only cares because he knows his grandchildren's parents will hate him forever. Well, and it's just a bad look if kids die at your theme park before you can open it.
Right.
Even though I remember a couple of years ago when the Disney Florida, I think like 2 kids were eaten by alligators at Disney Florida like 2 years ago.
Really?
Which was near buried news stories, but I loved them. Yeah. The alligators just crawled up from the swamps near Disney and ate children.
God damn.
Now, whenever I have a student tell me they really want to go to Disney World, I bring up those articles and talk about how it's a really dangerous place.
A weird little thing here. When he slips and falls on his ass, listen carefully. I think there's like a cartoonish noise that plays. Did you hear that?
Yeah, wait.
But actually, I just realized what that's supposed to be. That's the fucking the metal cable sliding back in.
Oh,
but it sounds like a cartoonish
it does.
Zoop.
It does.
I guess I have seen this movie a lot. Even though like you don't root for this guy, I remember this scene the first time just being like terrifying because he's like, he's just in the middle of this fucking dinosaur park with nothing, and he seems totally unconcerned. I think this kind of dinosaur also was popularized solely by this movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Dilophosaurus. Just realized the puppetry is like almost. It's like really good. It's like a heightened Gremlins level of puppetry.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually. That dinosaur reminds me a lot of Gremlins.
Yeah, but like way better robotics, I think. Maybe. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen Gremlins.
Gremlins is great. I rewatch it occasionally. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Some people think the second one is better. Are you in that camp?
I think they're really different. I like them both.
Yeah, they like.
I don't have a. I guess I like them both. I think they're both about equally as good.
Yeah,
They're kind of different though. They're like very different feels to
they're
them.
very different. Yeah. God, I just remember how fucking effective this shit was as a kid. I mean, it can't be now. I've seen it too many times, and I'm an adult. But the feeling, the childlike feeling I had, is still like easily accessible when I watch this movie.
Does that can of shaving cream come back to bite people? I don't remember. Is that DNA getting into the dirt how they have children?
I don't remember if they connected in the movies, but it seems very much foreshadowing. Because it's like enough to breed like a shit ton of dinosaurs, I think. But I don't remember how it connects. I think we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch all of these, and I think the second movie is the most like sort of weirdly disconnected from the rest of the movies, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, he's definitely in the car.
But the sky roof is broken.
Well, yeah, I knew it was, but like it was upside down.
Yeah.
So when it gets pushed off, like he would have had to do some really timely maneuvering to like get out of the way of this falling car. And also he would have just been sitting there ready to be eaten immediately. If there weren't so many other books that I should be reading that I haven't read before, I would almost be curious to read this one again. I mean, this is a very dumb minor complaint, but like they could have just gotten to the side of that thing, but that wouldn't be as fun as them having to race their way down.
That or just take a nice little tumble off the tree.
It's a pretty tall tree.
That's true. This is just like when Indiana Jones runs away from the boulder.
The vertical version. Oh, see, this is yeah. That's kind of the... It's the reverse of what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Using the the sunroof. Wait, what's the difference between a sunroof and a moonroof?
I think a sunroof opens.
has a retractable thing, and a moonroof is just a window, right?
Yeah, and I think a moonroof can't be opened.
Okay.
I'm not real sure.
No, that sounds right.
But that's what I think it is.
Gennaro is the lawyer, I believe, then. It is funny how zero regard they have for that lawyer's life. I never thought about that till now. Like, hey, there's a piece of his body here. Over here, too. Moving on. Oh, you sarcastic, sexy bastard.
He is a surprisingly sexy man.
That's why that shot of him became meme worthy, I think. It's like millennials like airing out their
it is nice to
sexual
see like
awakenings.
pre movies made before like 2000, before like every man was loaded up on steroids.
Different era, yeah. I mean, even in this time, though, he's not like a traditional like leading man hunk or anything.
That's true. I mean, he's a big guy, though. I mean, but he's like a normal big guy.
I'm just saying, like, he's supposed to be like he's like a cool science guy, science rock star. That's why he's like wearing the leather jacket or whatever. But he's not supposed to be like, I don't know, say like an Indiana Jones type. But even then, that goes to your theory. Like Harrison Ford didn't have to get jacked for every.
He wasn't
every movie.
Chris Pratt.
Fuck Chris Pratt. We'll get there eventually. Holds up, man. I'm saying this holds up. This CGI here.
Also, another boulder scene.
Well, because when anything chases another thing, it's like a...
Spielberg loves having boulders roll at people.
Yes, this Tirana Boulder Rex.
That is a Jeep. Back when I was a car guy, my favorite car I think I ever owned was a 1983 Jeep Cherokee. I loved that thing. Beautiful. Bought it for $500.
That's cheap.
It was cheap.
Oh, 83. Yeah, okay.
I mean, I bought a 1983 Jeep Cherokee for $500 in the year 2007 or 2008 because I had rolled my car before by falling asleep after driving my alcohol poisoned girlfriend to the hospital. It was a whole messy night.
God damn.
That Jeep though is cool. It was $500 though, and it died within 6 months. And I took it to a mechanic. They're like, it's going to cost like thousands of dollars to repair. I was like, oh, well, that's why it was $500. Shit.
I'd say you got your money's worth in 6 months. Maybe. Depends on if you did a bunch of other repairs to it in that time or not.
Oh, no, of course not.
Okay. Well, then you did, I would say. If you think of it as a rental, that's less than $100 a month. It's not bad. Although, I mean, I was pissed when my first car died, but I had put a bunch of repairs into it as well. Even though I spent very little to actually buy it. They're Vegisaurus.
Is Dr. Sam thinking it was a bad idea yet?
No, he's totally warming up to them.
Oh, I don't mean the children, the dinosaurs. He's thinking the dinosaurs.
Oh. No, I don't think so. He's too fascinated. Maybe. I mean, I'm sure in some ways he did almost die like 5 times. As I was saying earlier, do you think Eusaurus Rex? Sam Neill has a good Twitter account or Instagram account, one of the two. Same with, I think, Anthony Hopkins. Like, they just post like all this weird, like, not even really weird, but just like guys who like own vineyards and like hang out all day posts. But not in a necessarily like obnoxious, like, look how rich I am way. It's just kind of like, I'm a puttering around the house old man. Or like gardening, like, I'm growing vegetables. I don't know. There's something endearing about it.
Gift shops are so insidious.
Yeah. I find it weird that he's just sitting there eating ice cream. I mean, I guess there's nothing else he could really be doing, but I guess it's all in service of this conversation. Morphine.
Did you see his leg?
I'm saying I want some.
Oh, okay. Well, man, if you go and like jump out your balcony window, the hospital might give you some.
Probably not. This fucking country. Give me tramadol or whatever that shit is.
Yeah.
That's what they gave me when I had my kidney stone. They gave me fucking tramadol.
When I mangled my right hand in a bicycle accident, they had to like cut it open. They didn't even put me to sleep. They just cut open my hand and pulled my knuckles back into place and my finger bones back into place.
Yeah, but that's like, you can do local anesthetic. I mean, people get local anesthetic for lots of surgeries.
That's true.
Did they give you real pain pills for after?
No.
Nothing? Just Tylenol?
Advil.
Jesus.
They gave me ibuprofen.
I hate it.
Oh, sorry.
I hate this stupid non-drug fun having country. Highest alcohol consumption per capita in the world, yet you can't get a fucking bag of weed. Pisses me off.
But at least we can go to the doctor when we mangle our hands.
And they gave me tramadol, which is like, has way like weirder, more fucked up side effects than like Vicodin or something.
Does it?
as I was reading about it, I actually threw it away. I took a couple and like got a very, very mild buzz. And then, but I was reading shit about it, saying that it could like give you seizures and crap, especially if you like take Wellbutrin, which I do. So like I got paranoid and just fucking flushed them for some reason. I don't know why. Now I regret it. But those are like way shittier painkillers than like Vicodin is a more clean painkiller.
She's so naive. The only thing that matters is making sure capitalism continues. The park is more important than the people you love. Good doctor. You will realize it in your heart of hearts.
But see, he never comes out and says, he never really says it. He just keeps talking about like the wonder of like science and animals. Like, and he just told his story about the flea circus or whatever. Like, it's all magical. It's going to make people happy. And that's why he's doing it. It's not to make a ton of money. But obviously, so I don't know. Like the movie's stance on like the money making versus everything else. Because they kill the lawyer who's like the most like explicitly like trying to profit off of the place. What I remember about the book though is that the grandfather, the owner, he gets violently eaten to death by those tiny dinosaurs.
Oh, good.
The compies, compass, whatever they're called. They're in the second movie. But yeah, the end of the novel is the owner just getting like horribly, like slowly eaten to death by like a flock of tiny, tiny dinosaurs.
I would not touch that if it was me.
Touch what? The dinosaur?
Yeah, big cows are fucking scary. When he refers to it as a big cow, and cows are fucking scary.
Cows are not scary.
You've never been chased by a cow, I see.
I doubt you have either.
No, I have. It was terrifying.
Chased?
Chased.
It was running after you. A cow or a bull?
It was a cow.
Do they even run?
They can
Dairy
run.
cows?
Cows can run.
I've never seen a cow run. You're a liar. You're a dirty, rotten liar.
No, cows can run. Animals are big and animals are scary.
Doesn't mean they can all run fast. Oh, God. They're breeding in the wild.
What's breeding, mister? We haven't learned about that yet.
It's the old in, out, isn't it?
That's why the dinosaurs don't have feathers in the movie.
That's a big... They really overlooked the obvious there, these geneticists, then.
Maybe not.
I'm pretty sure... pretty sure his explanation is what it is.
Well, no. I mean, maybe they were more PETA bent geneticists, and they were like, it's cruel to not give these dinosaurs a way to breed in the wild. We'll make sure they have a way.
I guess it could be an inside job.
Do any of these movies get into animal rights?
I mean, I think the whole franchise, at least indirectly raises questions about animal rights and about zoos and meddling with evolution. And I mean, they brought that stuff up early on in the movie when I almost said Bloomberg, when Goldblum Samuel L. Jackson was like a crack addict.
No.
He was, even while he was like a professional actor. I think before this.
No, I had no clue.
Yeah, he was like a functional crack addict. Because he did movie. He's been acting since like the 80s, I'm pretty sure.
I guess it helps you memorize scripts.
Maybe. Well, the way he just rattled off all that science talk is what reminded me of him being a former hard drug addict. He was like, they don't have the amino acids, blah, 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 do not fall into a coma.
Lysine.
See, this is classic horror movie shit right here. Why would you let also the one black guy go off alone?
Yeah.
Although it did avoid the horror movie trope of him being the first to die. I think this might be the weakest CGI of the movie because it's broad daylight. But it's still not bad for 93. You remember that? I think we've talked about it before. That show Reboot.
Yeah. Love that show.
This was like the era of Reboot.
Yeah.
But like, yet this level of CGI was being made. I mean, I guess obviously for a lot more money. But actually, this isn't even that bad.
Oh. When did Toy Story come out?
Probably I want to say like 95, 96. Maybe earlier? I don't know. I can't remember. See, now, if I'm going to poke little dumb logic holes in this movie, I always thought that part was kind of like there was no warning of that T-Rex approaching that time. It just came out of nowhere. Before it was like this great like rumbling of the ground.
They just loot them.
It's some like pretty decent jokes in this script, I think.
Yeah. Man, maybe it's a popular opinion or an unpopular opinion, but I think the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is fucking excellent.
I can't get into those movies.
First one's so good. The others are garbage, but the first one is just like a great blockbuster all around.
I watched, I think, all of them in like maybe one sitting for some weird reason. Hey, one put them on because she was just like wanted to watch something kind of dumb.
And then you watched all of them.
And we watched all of them. And like, to me, they're all just one long, dumb movie that I hated.
Man, I love the first one.
I can't distinguish it from the others in my memory.
I can't imagine overloading myself with all of them at the same time, though.
It was maybe over the course of like 2 sittings, but it felt like maybe just one long, like, okay, let's watch the other one. There's probably must have been drinking involved. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have done that.
He's got such muscular thighs. He must be a cyclist. He doesn't skip leg day. That's why he got a job where he could wear shorts all the time. I also don't skip leg day. Just arm day. Every day's leg day when you're Jason Newland. In my memory, for some reason, Newman survived.
He was totally mauled to death. We saw it happen.
Oh, yeah, I know.
This part is so great. I mean, I know exactly what's going to happen, but vivid memories of watching this, like the first few times even. It was so suspenseful. So the character Muldoon, right? So there's this like this great bit that the We Hate Movies guys did about imagining a bar called Muldoon's, where when you walk in, you just hear you hear Muldoon going, "Shooter!" and it's like you're getting like shooters, and it's like happy hour at Muldoon's. I don't know. They have this whole like just bit about it, but it like turned into this like like it was mythology of the podcast, where there's like a fan group called Muldoon's Bar that I used to frequent on the internet, but not so much anymore. But this is some good comedy too. Dinosaur roaring. I have to piss, but I don't want to miss any of this stuff.
It's the only good movie we're going to watch today.
I still think none of them are as bad as any of the Transformers movies. Not even close. But yes, it's downhill from here for sure. Although I would say not straight downhill. I think the third one is fun.
A toll voltage.
He's just climbing down. Why is he so slow?
I don't know.
Annoying ass kid.
It looks like a really easy thing to climb.
Yeah, I know. This part always annoyed me even as a kid. It's like just he's like so close to the ground at one point. I think he could just like hop down. Oh right, yeah. He won't do it.
Yeah, he could just jump there. It's not like
Do not grasp electricity, you dumb fucking kid.
One of my worst memories as a kid, I was pretty young, but it was like when I was playing t-ball as a kid. We had this like my childhood house had like a the backyard. There was a balcony on the back. It was like a 2-story house, like just a general 2-story house with a balcony. That's the word. No, sorry, a deck. Balcony's the wrong word. I know words. We had a deck. But for some reason, me and my friend Adam were like at my house playing. I guess he's on the team with me, and my mom and stepdad were like, "It's time to go to the game," and I was like, "I'm just gonna jump off the deck." So I ran and jumped off the deck, which it was a 2-story jump. But as a kid, I think I'd done it before.
2 stories.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I jump off, and would have been fine, landed fine, but I also landed on this board that was facing up, and there was a nail in it, and it punctured all the way through my foot.
Damn.
And my stepdad at the time, Rick, was kind of an asshole, and he wrapped my foot up with medical gauze and made me go play baseball that day. So like my foot was like bleeding the entire time that I played baseball.
You gotta get a tetanus shot or something, man.
No, but I went and played after dragging my foot out of that nail. I think there's still a scar on my foot to this day.
Damn. I stepped on a nail once, not in such dramatic fashion, but one thing I remember most about it actually was that one of the neighbors. This was when I was really young. I was probably like 6 or 7 years old or something. But we had a neighbor who was developmentally disabled, and he must have been like he was probably like 19 or 20 years old, but you know, he could like exist on he could hang out with kids my age and get along fine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like a friend, I guess. He was like a neighborhood friend, but like I stepped on this nail and was like, you know, freaking out, and his response was to like run in circles, like kind of like laughing maniacally because he just didn't know how to react to what was going on, which just made it all the more fucked up in my head. Like, I don't know, it was weird. He was like flapping his arms and running in circles, screaming and laughing. And I was just like, God damn, this hurts. Yeah. Didn't play baseball. Went to the hospital. Got the tetanus shot. That's all I remember.
Makes me question my childhood that I wasn't taken to the hospital. Come to think of it.
I think also, I mean, I'm not that this makes, you should have gone to the hospital regardless, but like, don't kids like get their tetanus shots just like as like part of regular shots?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I wonder why I had to get one then. I guess I just hadn't gotten it before. Maybe it was like a just to make sure or something. I don't know. Anyway, we just talked over like a bunch of cool shit that happened in this movie, but it doesn't matter. Everybody knows this movie.
Maldives got ate by a dinosaur.
Well, there was like Laura Dern holding Samuel Jackson's disembodied arm.
Kids are going to eat cake now.
Little Timmy got electrocuted right off that fence. Served him right. I think this is prime Laura Dern era, I have to say.
I think the most painful injury I ever had was sliding down a rope. Never recommend that. If you're ever going to slide down a rope, slide down it with gloves. That's my pro tip.
Good tip, man. That's some brilliant imagery there.
It really is.
Also, her choice of eating Jell-O, which, a very jiggly, shaky food for her.
Her plate was like
shaking.
Jell-O and broccoli, while her brother was just like chowing down on all the cakes.
Yeah, she had to eat broccoli to show that she's a vegetarian. This whole sequence is amazing as well. Really good mix of CGI and puppets, I think, if I'm remembering right. I mean, the whole movie is, but... It's a little... I'm hardly the first person to point this out, but an annoying thing in movies is when people cock their guns, like, way too many times. Like, for dramatic effect, but it, like, makes no sense.
I mean, he only cocked it once.
I'm not talking about here. It just reminded me of, like, in general. I was actually saying here they're doing it correctly. Like, he's doing it to prepare to shoot it.
Yeah.
But, like, in movies where, like, people are in a standoff and they're like, I'll do it. And then they cock the gun. It's like, well, you were just pointing the gun at somebody. Were you not going to shoot it then? I've found myself more and more sort of annoyed by that in certain movies. If the movie's good enough, it doesn't matter, but... Yeah, this is a classic scene. Oddly good CGI. And I think it's the dark shadows really makes the difference. Like a lesser movie would have like probably put a lot of this shit in like, I don't know, worse lighting or something. Good puppetry.
Nice focus on the raptor claws.
Sometimes I can't tell. I honestly can't tell. Sometimes in like certain quick moments, whether it's puppetry or CGI. Like that, I guess is CGI. The tail there, but I think the head was a puppet.
I think I was one of the only people to watch it, but I actually loved the Dark Crystal series they did on Netflix last year.
I forgot about that.
Speaking of good puppetry, same puppet studio.
Henson?
Of course.
They did Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I forgot about that. Do you know that Jim Henson's son made a movie that is like roundly ridiculed like a couple of years ago?
No.
And it was all puppet. It was like puppets mixed with real people, but it was supposed to be like edgelord shit. It was like, I forgot the name of it, but I just heard, We Hate Movies made fun of it.
No, I didn't.
It's like supposed to be like kind of like a film noir. That's brilliant shot. The reflection. It's like a film noir with like crude puppet characters. Like there's a scene where a puppet like jizzes like silly string and stuff. Like it's like such a fucking affront to the good name of Jim Henson, though. His son just like...
Jim Henson, I mean, was like kind of I love Jim Henson, but from my understanding, he wanted to do a lot darker films, but wasn't often allowed to. Not necessarily saying that he wanted to do like
an edgelord shitty movie, yeah.
That there's a really good docu-series about Jim Henson that came out like last year or 2 years ago that I highly recommend.
I'd like to check.
It's really worth watching.
I mean, he's responsible for like the bulk of my childhood, basically.
I mean, he tried to do lots of he wanted to do lots more like adult stuff with puppets than he was ever really allowed to. Like even stuff in the Muppets or Fraggle Rock, he always tried to have more like adult themes spliced in. And I guess he got some freedom with stuff like Dark Crystal, which is just a fucking great movie, in my opinion. One of the best fantasy movies ever made.
That's one of those movies that I know is good, but I don't even really remember if I watched it or not.
You should watch it sometime, man. It really holds up. It's also probably the best puppets ever used in film. But for me, those type of movies kind of shaped me as a person. I fucking love fantasy probably more than I should.
I mean, one of my friends who has sort of similar tastes in that kind of stuff as you always told me Dark Crystal was great, and I think he tried to get me to watch it once, and I don't know, wasn't feeling it or something. I can't remember if I've seen it, honestly. I think I kind of confused Dark Crystal and Time Bandits together for some reason.
Those are weird things to confuse.
Are they similar in any way?
Not really. They're very different.
I think maybe just that the same friend recommended both movies at around the same time.
I always connect Dark Crystal with like Legend, which is nowhere near as good as Dark Crystal, and
oh, is that the movie where
with Tom Cruise and
Tim Curry plays the devil?
Yeah. And
I only know about that because a podcaster always talks about the terror of seeing Tim Curry as Satan as a kid. Said it was like the most terrifying thing they'd ever seen.
I had that terror too.
You and Andrew Jupe and two peas in a pod. You should get him on.
Tim Curry was also the
pod.
evil environmental thing in Ferngully.
Never saw that one either.
Classic animated movie, that.
I can't make it. I gotta use the toilet.
You're going to miss all the tiny dinosaurs eating Grandpa.
That's in the book.
Damn it. Was Laura Croft based on Laura Dern? Oh, that scene's so good. Kid, move. Oh, we get to learn how children are computer hackers soon. That's what I know is coming up, is that we're going to learn out the vegetarian daughter lives on bulletin boards and is totally into American Online. Much like I was as a kid. I was an early Prodigy user. I felt like I related to this kid. That looks so fun.
To the girl using the old computer network?
Yeah. I was with my weird childhood. Some reason we got Prodigy really early. Like I was on the internet in like 93 or some bullshit. Some really early time. Or what I consider early time. I was obsessed with bulletin boards and BBS and IRC.
BDS?
Yeah.
You were pretty radical.
I know, man. I was listening to podcasts from the future as a child.
I mean the Palestinian group. But yeah.
Oh, come on. They're your size. You could just box them. Oh, look. The T-Rex is a hero. I feel like this movie needs zombies.
See, damn it.
The grandfather's also not going to endorse his park.
Yeah, here we go. Look at this imagery. When dinosaurs ruled the earth. That roar is something. It's got a real train quality. I think in the behind the scenes thing I saw, they explained what sounds they blended together to get the T-Rex roar and the raptor screeches. And I think they did actually use like a train sound or something. What I was going to say earlier was that the girl, when she was hacking, she looked like she had like that Ziggy Stardust, like lightning bolt over her eye. So I'm going to say it now, even though we're well past that.
Speaking of Ziggy Stardust, have you seen Annie Clark's new music video?
I heard the song. I didn't watch the video.
It's very, very David Bowie-esque.
Yeah, I heard
even
that.
The song. But
yeah, like Fame era Bowie, right?
Yeah.
I was watching a bunch of David Bowie and Flaming Lips covering David Bowie things on YouTube a couple days ago.
I'll always love the Annie Clark with Lisa Simpson hair.
Lisa Simpson hair?
Oh, yeah, that one video where she has like the Lisa Simpson hair and it's all like silvery. I can't think of the name of the song, but she's totally just mimicking Lisa Simpson.
Like, it's spiky?
It's like 3 distinct triangles.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, you do. You just probably never thought of her as Lisa Simpson in it.
I mean, I know when she... Hey, bird. It's used to be a dinosaur. I get it.
So they're just going to let those dinosaurs live on that island on their own now.
Well, we got the sequel coming up. How does John Williams have so many iconic scores? It's kind of incredible.
I mean, he's a musical guy.
But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is like, is it him or is it who he works with? Or I guess it's just a combination of both.
I'd say it's a little of both, yeah.
I mean, that's such a dumb question. The way I've said it, but
no,
you know what I mean? Like, just
imagine had they let
think about it. Like, okay, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones. All of those are like instantly recognizable melodies.
Yeah,
there's more than that too. I'm blanking on it.
I just wish this movie had been directed by David Lynch.
I mean, his muse was in it. By that I mean Wayne Knight.
Or the Quentin Tarantino version of Jurassic Park.
Where dinosaurs use the N-word 1,000 times.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right. Because we're watching all of these movies in one sitting, we are going to switch over to the next one now. Not watch all of the credits.
I'm going to run to the...
My microphone keeps breaking off. All right. We'll be back with the next one. That was a damn good movie.